Thanks for joining my weekly Facebook Live series. Today we're going to talk about how to be your authentic self at work. And if you don't know me, I'm Caroline Castrillon. I'm the founder of Corporate Escape Artists, and I'm a business and life coach that helps people escape their 9-to-5 jobs so they can find fulfillment working for themselves. So how to be your authentic self at work. If you missed my interview with friend and colleague Greg Storch last week, you can watch it at my blog on corporateescapeartist.com, but we actually talked about this very topic. And so maybe you're a t-shirt and flip-flops type of person, and yet your company requires you to wear suits every day. Or this concept of authenticity also applies to race, gender, or orientation. Maybe you're an African-American woman and you don't feel like you can wear your natural hair to work every day because you feel like your company might not find it appropriate. Well, you're definitely not alone. Deloitte did a research study actually showing that more than half of us feel like we need to cover up some aspect of ourselves at work. And unfortunately, underrepresented groups like the LGBT community, African Americans, women, Hispanics, feel the most pressure to cover up part of their identity at work. And so you've heard that concept of keeping your work and personal life separate, but does it really make sense these days when the average person spends 90,000 hours of their lifetime at work? So, Carl Jung was the one that coined this phrase persona, which are these masks that we wear. And personas actually allow us to interact more easily in social situations, which can be a good thing if we're trying to adapt. But do you really want to wear a mask to work every day? And so Mike Robbins, he's the author of Bring Your Whole Self to Work, a great book. I'm going to have a link to it from my blog on corporateescapeartist.com. He talks about the costs of doing this, which are lack of productivity, lack of engagement, and just overall diminished well-being, because we can't operate at an optimal level at work if we're worried constantly about fitting in and saying the right thing. So what are the barriers? What's keeping us from being our authentic selves at work? Well, it's basically starts with fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of judgment, and ultimately fear of losing our jobs and that financial security. So what can we do about this? Because the flip side to this coin is when we try to appear to have it all together at work, which is another work persona, that can backfire. And this was really well described by Dr. Patricia Thompson. She's a corporate psychologist and president of Silver Lining Psychology. She describes in this amazing article that I'll have a link to from my blog on corporateescapeartist.com her own experiences as an African-American woman in the corporate world. And she says, I was seen as smart and capable and intelligent, all of these things. But people also saw me as being hard to read and difficult to get to know. Because she was putting up these invisible barriers, she was actually more likely to be seen as part of an outgroup. So what's the answer? Well, obviously employers should be the ones to foster these environments of authenticity and inclusiveness, but what can we do as employees? Should we even be our authentic selves at work? Well, the answer is definitely yes. And take it from me, it's exhausting to have to wear masks to work every day. And so what steps can we take? Well, that's not to say that you need to share every aspect of yourself with everyone from the CEO to the janitor. But what we're trying to say is just start to open up a little bit to your coworkers, because then they'll open up to you, and that's going to change the company dynamic entirely. And Mike Robbins actually describes it best in terms of this authenticity equation. He describes it as honesty minus self-righteousness plus vulnerability equals authenticity. So how can we be more of our authentic selves at work? There's different steps that you can take. And if you're not used to doing this, it might be a little scary at first, but just take small steps. The first step is really to just start to be a little more vulnerable at work, show more of your personal side. And you might be surprised at how receptive and supportive your coworkers will be. Another step you can take is don't be afraid to have those difficult conversations. Maybe you need to talk to your manager about the fact that you have to leave early to pick up your kid from daycare, or you might need to work from home once in a while to take care of an elderly parent. Have those difficult conversations, because that will open the door for others to be receptive and supportive. Another tip is to ask for second opinions. Authentic leaders don't believe that they have all the answers. And so next time you're working on a project, ask your team members and your coworkers for their opinions and involve them in that process. Another step you can take is to seek out or be a mentor. If you're a mentor to someone at work, that's going to help them to navigate those corporate waters so they will feel more comfortable bringing 100% of their true selves to the office. And finally, keep an authenticity journal. It doesn't have to be as formal or fancy as all that, but just start taking notes about instances where you don't feel like you can be your true self at work. And over a period of a week or 2 weeks, you're going to start to see patterns. And you might find that you're just being overly cautious, or you might find that your company isn't as inclusive as you thought it was. In which case, if your values don't align with your company's values, you might need to consider another environment where you might feel more comfortable. So next time you want to check your authentic self at the door, wear it proudly, because you're going to be surprised at how liberated and empowered you will feel. So my challenge to you this week is, what small step are you going to take to be your authentic self at work? If you're watching this live, please write that in the comments. Or if you're listening to the replay, you can write some comments in the blog or email me at caroline@corporateescapeartist.com. I'd love to hear your story. I hope this information was helpful. Again, you can find more on this topic on my blog at corporateescapeartist.com. I'm also on Facebook Live every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Central. And as always, if you or someone you know wants to escape that 9-to-5 job so you can find that freedom and fulfillment working for yourself, please reach out to me. I would love to hear your story. And so until next week, I will see you soon. Thanks for joining, everyone.